Welcome to the adventures of Chris and Mike. In this episode of the adventures of Chris and Mike, we're going to be looking for some pictographs in the BWCA. In this episode, we'll be taking the trusty beaver canoe to search for the Basswood River Crooked Lake pictographs. We put in at Fall Lake and portaged our way to Newton. We made our way to Pipestone Bay and then the open waters of Basswood Lake. As we approached Basswood Falls, we found a great campsite. We call this campsite the Beaver People campsite. There was a lot of beaver action that night. The next morning we started the long mile portage around Upper Basswood Falls. The water levels of the Basswood River were quite low. This canoe didn't make it when the levels were high. We had a fun time exploring and relaxing around Upper Basswood Falls. Again, you can see just how low the water levels were. You never know what you're going to see while you're portaging. Here we saw a deer. After the long portage, we took a break and enjoyed some peanut butter and jelly crackers. We continued on, and here the water was still as glass. It was a gray day, but we were glad it wasn't raining. The rocks were quite slippery as it had rained heavily the night before. This left the portage trails quite muddy. We had to take our time carrying these heavy loads on these slippery rocks. The September fall colors were starting to show. We continued making our way along the river, and when we got to Wheelbarrow Falls, we were really surprised how low the water levels were. Finally, after a long hard day, we reached Lower Basswood Falls. We found the campsite open at the base of Lower Basswood Falls. It was a welcome sight and we got a chance to dry out our wet gear. Then the camp host came to pay us a visit. With camp set up, it was time to relax and enjoy the evening. We woke up to a magical, mystical sunrise. Lower Basswood Falls seemed to be aglow. As the fog began to lift, we were greeted by beautiful blue skies. It was time to go search for the pictographs. A bald eagle greeted us on the start of our journey. And a little further down the Basswood River, we ran into this beaver. And now we approach the Basswood River Crooked Lake pictographs.
You can see we're out on the lake and I'm videotaping out here. That is Pictograph Rock on Crooked Lake.
Our excitement grew as we neared the cliff.
Here we are now, going by the pictographs in the boundary waters. shooting this. Here we go. Current is just pulling us down. Real nice. Christine is supplying all the power. Wow, isn't this awesome? This is just awesome.
Here are some of the Basswood River Crooked Lake pictographs that we discovered. It was a fantastic day of discovery here in the BWCA. And if you have time, just a little further up the lake is Table Rock. Next, we went to the BWCA in the winter to search for the North Hegman Lake pictographs. Chris and I grabbed our cross-country skis and headed out to the Hegman Lake's entry point. It was our first trip to the BWCA in the winter. It truly was a winter wonderland. As we skied along, we wondered if the pictographs would be covered in ice and snow. The cliff we thought the pictographs were on were covered in icicles. We wondered if the icicles would hide the pictographs. Luckily, the cliff was clear of ice and we were fortunate to see the pictographs. The pictographs on North Hegman Lake are an awesome sight to behold. It turned out to be a great BWCA winter experience. If you would like to see more of this kind of content, please give it a like and please subscribe to my channel.